Okay, so we're opening up this pretty box. It's the Travels Edition. Be helpful if I can open it, hey? Okay, this is the box, and then we have the instructions. Oh, on this board. Alrighty, that's all that's in the box, so let's open up the instructions, shall we? Okay, instructions. Do you already know the game rules for Catan vaguely? If so, you're basically ready to start playing. The only new thing is that you set up the island using the 6 game board pieces. The starting setup for beginners is shown on page 2 of these rules, and the starting setup for experienced players is explained on page 12. You don't know the game rules yet? In that case, consult our 3-part rule system. The game overview introduces you to the game. After the overview, read the game rules and start playing. For more detailed questions, please refer to the Almanac, where you can find further explanation for all keywords marked in the game rules. Also, please read the hints and tips regarding the use of the compact box on page 9. So the game components, we have 6 game board pieces depicting terrain. Then we have 95 resource cards, 25 developmental cards, 4 building cost cards, 2 special victory point cards. Game piece set in 4 colors. Each set has 5 settlements, 15 rows, and 4 cities. There's 1 robber, there's 1 dice shaker, there's 2 card trays, and then there's also whatever those are. Game overview and starting setup for beginners. Are we beginners? Number 1, the island of Catan lies before you and consists of 19 terrain hexes surrounded by sea. Your task is to settle the island. Number 2, there are 5 different terrain types and 1 desert on Catan. Each terrain type produces a different type of resource. Forest produces lumber, hills produce brick, pasture produces sheep, fields produce grain, mountains produce ore, and the desert produces nothing. 3, you begin the game with 2 settlements and 2 roads. Each settlement is worth 1 victory point. You therefore start the game with 2 victory points. The first player to reach 10 victory points wins the game. Number 4, to obtain more victory points, you must build new roads and settlements and upgrade your settlements to cities. A city is worth 2 victory points. To build or upgrade, you need resources. 5, how do you get resources? It's simple. Each turn, roll the 2 dice in the shaker to determine which terrain hexes produces resources. Each terrain hex is marked with a number. If, for example, you roll a 3, all terrain hexes with the number 3 produce resources. In the illustration on the right, the terrain hexes with the number 3 are forest, lumber, and mountain ore. Number 3, forest, that's mountain ore and forest lumber here. Okay, number 6. You only collect resources if you own a settlement or city bordering these terrain hexes. In the illustration, a white settlement D borders the forest markers with the 3. Okay, here. Additionally, a blue settlement B and an orange settlement C, B, and C border the mountain marked with a 3. If a 3 is rolled, the white player receives 1 lumber, and the blue player and the orange player each receive 1 ore. So, number 7. Since settlements usually border on 2 to 3 terrain types, they can harvest up to 3 different resources based on the dice roll. In our example, settlement B borders 3 terrain hexes: forest, mountain, and hills. Number 8. Since you can't have settlements adjacent to all terrain hexes and numbers, you'll receive certain resources only at rare intervals, others never. This creates challenges because building requires specific resource combinations. Number 9, for this reason, you can trade with your opponents, make them an offer or let them make you an offer. A successful trade might yield a big build. Number 10, you can only build a new settlement on an unoccupied intersection, provided that one of your own roads leads to that intersection and the nearest settlement is at least 2 intersections away. Number 11, carefully consider where you build settlements. The numbers on the terrain hexes are depicted in varying sizes. The taller the depicted number, the more likely that number is to be rolled. The red numbers 6 and 8 are the tallest numbers with the most pips. They are likely to be rolled most frequently. Bottom line, the most frequently a number is rolled, the more often the hexes with those numbers produce resources. You should consider settling on hexes that have good potential for production. However, these same hexes are often the primary target for the robber. The robber's this dude. Okay, next page. Rooms. Preparation. Okay, I already know how to play, so that's cool. I think this is role settlement, city, development card. Ooh, special case. Special cases. Rolling a 7 and activating the robber. If you roll a 7, no one receives any resources. All players who have more than 7 resource cards must select half of their resource cards and return them to the supply. Players who have an odd number cards round down. For example, if you have 9 cards, you must discard 4 of them. Then you must move the robber. You must move the robber to another hex. This can also be the desert hex. Then you draw 1 resource card at random from one opponent who has a settlement or city adjacent to their terrain hex you have placed the robber on. If you are the player who is getting robbed, fan your resource cards out so that only you can see what they are, so that the player robbing you can easily choose a random card. Number 3, afterwards you begin your turn's trade phase. If the number of the hex containing the robber is rolled, the owner of adjacent settlements and cities do not receive resources from that hex. B. Playing development cards. During your turn, you may play 1 developmental card before or after rolling and resolving production. That card, however, may not be a card you bought during the same turn. There are 3 types of developmental cards. 1. Knight cards. If you play a knight card, you must immediately move the robber. See steps 1 and 2 above. Once played, knight cards can remain face up in front of you. First player to have 3 knights face up in front of themselves receives the special card Largest Army, which is worth 2 victory points to its holder. If another player has more knight cards face up in front of himself than the current holder of the Largest Army card, he immediately receives a special card and the 2 victory points move from the old holder to the new holder. 2. Number progress cards. If your player progress cards follows the instructions, then remove the card from the game. Put it in the box, set it aside. Victory point cards. You must keep victory points cards secrets. May only reveal them if you and another player reach a total of 10 victory points. If you have 10 or more victory points during your turn, the game ends and you are the winner. Hints and tips for handling a case. To make it easier for you to reach into the drawer, rotate them slightly away from the hinge when you pull them out. Important, the drawers are permanently attached to the box. Do not try to pull them out completely. If you do not play the 2-player variant, you will not need the trade cards. We suggest that you put these additional cards at the bottom of one of the card holder's 5 resource card compartments. That way they are stored safely and do not get in the way. When disassembling the game, please follow these indications in the order listed. First, put all the cards into the card holders. 2. Store each of the 2 card holders into separate drawers. Put the die shaker into a third drawer. 3. Place the game pieces into the drawer, 1 color per drawer. Please note, small bags may get stuck in the drawer. Therefore, we advise not to put bags in the drawer. Number 4. To close the drawers, push them back inward while rotating them towards the hinge. Then slide/push them into the box until they snap into place. 5. To remove the game board pieces, begin at one of the depressions in the outer edge of the board frame. 6. Stack all game board pieces and the manual onto one half of the compact box in no particular order, while the other half of the box over. 7. Close the sliding latch until it snaps into place. Oh, so you always have to have this and this out. That's interesting. Catan for 2. Ooh. Detailed rules, explanation, and examples. Pile settlements. Man, so much information. Victory points. Longest road, 1 settlement, 1 city. Victory point card, largest army. Cool. So that is the rules. So let's have an open of the box, shall we? Like this. Right, got it. Then you open it up. Out comes this, and then you have. Oh, it goes up and down like this. Okay, this one goes up and down. Oh, the cards look so cute. Wait, this one goes this way. How about you? What do you do? Do you do anything? Nope. Do you do anything? Cool. Am I supposed to check this out? Oh, I am. Alrighty. So we have the 4 colors looking pretty snazzy. That's pretty cool. Right. I'd like to thank you very much for watching and hopefully stay posted. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.